This Film, the podcast where we pick a movie, rewatch it, and then have a chat about it. But this time, it is a drinking game. And I'm joined by Carmen.
Hi.
And Christian.
Hi.
And we're watching The Exorcist.
You watched it so many times before, and now you're gonna watch it again. But it's been so many years since you last saw it, and now you show it to your friends, and they're like, "What?
What am I watching?
Why this?
What is
What?
this?
Why this film?"
So, the IMDb breakdown is: when a 12-year-old girl is possessed by a mysterious entity, her mother seeks the help of two priests to save her. Carmen, why are we watching The Exorcist?
So I actually run a blog on WordPress called Spooky Bitch, and I review Empire Magazine's top 50 films.
Love it.
Top 50 horror films, and The Exorcist is the one I pulled out of my special little bowl this week, and I thought it would be an excellent opportunity to scare the living shit out of you. So,
Have you seen this movie before?
I have, many years ago.
When did you watch it first?
Oh God, I was probably a teenager, so I would say about 15 years ago is the last time I watched it. Yeah,
Okay.
so it's quite fuzzy for me.
Yeah. Do you remember enjoying it? Do you remember the hype of the 70s and then watching it in the 2000s?
I don't think I appreciated it
Fair.
for what it was as
Yeah.
a classic. I think I probably just watched it because everyone was watching it, or you know, whatever. Like,
Everyone knew about it.
yeah, like terror films, and someone probably put it on at a sleepover or something, and I just got swept in. I don't massively remember it scaring me, but by 15 I was pretty hardcore in my horror phase anyway, so
Yeah, I can imagine.
I was quite,
Horror queen here.
yeah, it's quite hard to scare. But I know that it's a classic, and I know that it's got that beauty of the 60s and 70s films where they work on that real life horror and how anything can happen to anyone, and you've got to watch out because this is very based on real life. And it although it's based in religion and you know, demons, etc., it kind of makes you feel like, hey, that could have happened to anyone, and I think that's why,
because it was vaguely based on like a real event, like a teenage boy was exorcised and possessed and possibly died, and this movie sort of came from that, but I don't think it's sort of, you know, depending on your belief of religion as to whether
of course, and a lot of horror movies are based on true events. Of course. So you gotta take it with a pinch of salt, I think.
100%.
You know, you can say all you want that I don't know, a haunted house film is based on a true event, but if you don't believe in ghosts like myself, then you are never going to buy that.
Yeah.
So,
It's fair.
yeah.
Christian, have you seen this movie before?
I have not, no. I'm not a horror movie fan. So no.
It's going to be very interesting.
I know that you're very tense already. There's a big tension coming from that side of the sofa.
I don't do horror films well at all. I think before we met I've watched maybe 3.
That probably promptly changed.
I know, it's so proud.
Probably changed, and yet my opinion didn't.
But do you know of The Exorcist?
Know of it, I've never really known the story.
You see, like, does the term The Exorcist and the idea of the movie The Exorcist fill you with dread more so than perhaps Poltergeist does?
No, because to me it's all kind of based on, those kind of films are all kind of based on the supernatural anyway.
Right.
Which and to me, unfortunately, where I am not a big horror film fan, I unfortunately, and I'm sure people will say that there is a very distinct difference between the two, I tend to just blanket the whole idea of it's a horror movie and probably to do with the supernatural, therefore I'll do anything else but watch it. Apart from this evening, of course.
This movie has plagued my life.
It's true.
I was terrified of horror movies growing up. I didn't watch them, but I would frantically Wikipedia the plot points because I had to know, but I didn't want to watch them. I was scared of everything as a child, like absolutely everything. And then something clicked and changed, and suddenly I was like, I need to watch horror movies. It was you. It was my friendship with Carmen. It was one Halloween. We watched Halloween, John Carpenter's Halloween, changed my life. We watched all of the Conjurings.
We did.
And from that point on, I've found a bravery and a real enjoyment in watching horror movies, and I love them. And I've gone back and watched a lot of the old ones. The Wicker Man, the original Wicker Man, is my favourite horror movie of all time. I have a massive appreciation for new horror. I think Gerald's Game is my second favourite horror of all time. It's a very old one, a very new one. The Exorcist is something I have actively avoided because there is just something about it, the mythos of the filmmaking behind it or the plot itself, and I'm not religious. And you are split. When you talk to people about The Exorcist, they either say, oh, well, it was like the 70s, so you're not going to be frightened today. It's very dated, it's very old, you're not going to find it scary. Or people are like, it's going to fuck you up.
Yeah.
And as someone that throws up religiously after watching the Project, to this day, I think that The Exorcist is going to fuck me up. So I am so excited and absolutely terrified to finally sit down and watch it, and I'm just so happy that I get to do it with you guys.
I'm so honoured.
Like, it's a big thing. I've been broken up.
I'm really worried sat in between you two because I feel like I'm going to get a whole host of
boob punching.
Yeah, boob punching, absolute volatile reactions to these scares.
Thankfully, I have many cushions which I can hide behind.
Yes, you get in there. You've got a blanket.
I'm nuzzling into you.
I'll never forget watching Halloween with you, actually. It's one of my favourite stories of just Mike Myers appearing in a window, and you screamed, but not like just, like you blood-curdled screamed. Like, probably our neighbours thought we were murdering you. And it was just so funny to watch on the outside because essentially someone just appeared on screen and you screamed like
they
were being stabbed
at the real window that
it
we
was
were sat
fucking hilarious.
Some stuff gets to me, man. Like,
that was one of them.
Yeah, and this is why I'm worried because I know the artistry behind this movie and I know the history, and it is Mark Kermode's favourite movie of all time.
Yeah.
And I know everything around and about The Exorcist except having sat down and watched the movie. So I'm very excited.
Yeah.
So we have the drinking game rules. Drink whenever you are legitimately spooked.
Oh god, you're going to be absolutely wasted.
Drink whenever they say Regan, I think
they pronounce us, yeah.
Drink whenever there is a religious reference or symbol.
Oh god.
We can, forego some of these. Drink whenever the main theme comes on. I assume that means the music theme, which is very famous and wonderful.
Yes, good.
Drink anytime you see Captain Howdy. I don't know what that is, but it's accompanied by brackets and caps lock saying nope, nope, do not want. So I'm already terrified as to what the hell that is going to be. Drink anytime someone swears. That's interesting. I wouldn't have associated this movie with swearing. God, there's so many. Drink whenever someone says exorcist, exorcism, or demon. I think we'll just gradually sip throughout this movie.
We are just going to continue drinking.
Drinks are doubled if Reagan is in the possessed state. Isn't that the third act of the movie? I don't know. Drink whenever they say father. That's it. Only 9 rules. Okay, well, thank you.
That's a good one.
Tumblr for those.
Thanks, Tumblr.
I'm not going to keep them up because we'll just sip. But, are you ready?
Cheers.
Are you ready?
No.
I'm like shotgunning Carmen's shoulder over on this side.
That's fair. That's fair.
I'll shotgun the other room.
Yeah, Christian might just walk out at some point.
That's fair. You've got to see it to the end though, because otherwise it's scary. Because your imagination makes up the rest.
That's true, especially if you're Emily.
Yeah.
It's not an awfully big incentive for me to stay in the room.
Okay.
I'm so afraid already, and nothing's even happened. All the lights are on, by the the way. Are you about to turn them off?
Oh yeah, I am going to turn them off actually. Now that you've said that. Well, the kitchen lights are on, so actually, and we've got candles
and Camden, like Canary Wharf even.
Oh, yeah, Canary Wharf is right there. It's lighting this place up like a mother.
Yeah.
We're fine.
It's fine.
And you know how deaf I am, is it really loud? Thank you. Oh, it's got to be louder than that. That's only on 60. Come on. We want that theme to penetrate us. Yes, 85. Woo! Just as some imagery for everyone, Emily's already cowering and they're just looking at rocks.
The use of sound.
It's so well done.
That atmosphere already is just incredible.
Yeah, it is.
And like nothing's happened. I'm really scared for him. I don't even know who he is or why I should care, but I'm really frightened for him. I hope he's okay. I get why this could fuck people up from the 70s. Already I feel like violated almost. It's such a clever assault on the senses.
Yeah, that's a really good way to describe it.
And like, I feel threatened already.
And like, I like that there's kind of these, you know, that there's sort of secret hidden signs.
Yeah.
But you don't have to work them out yet. And I think
Yeah.
that's, really, really clever.
unsettling.
I mean, you never want your child's window open when you live in the city, right? Close that shit up.
Why does she have servants? I had no idea she was like an actress. That's so cool. How does she afford her house?
She's a successful one.
Really?
Chick!
Beautiful piece of music.
When can I have one? We'll see, Regan. We'll see.
Oh, the 70s when you let your child just skate on a stranger's horse.
She's having a friend.
Isn't it amazing how Coca-Cola has managed to remain
Get everywhere.
in literally
You also
all films?
did not care for that. That's gonna come back. Oh. That was too brief to not be important.
Call me crazy, but I'm living for that mustard paint in that house. I've been to that.
Oh, matching trousers.
Hey, where'd this come from?
Oh my god, fuck that. No, put it down. Nope.
Closet.
That's like my dream if my child ever did that. Find a Ouija board, start playing with it. Go.
And be like, oh my god, I'm playing with a Ouija board. Well,
You are
you.
so my daughter.
I don't like it.
Captain Howdy said no.
Captain Howdy, take a drink.
I'd have no sympathy.
Oh, and that's that. That's just our introduction to Captain fucking Howdy.
It's not
He's communing with you through the Ouija board.
Their relationship is so wholesome.
Mm-hmm. It's a very good casting of mother and daughter.
Yeah, like really believable.
That's not rats, Ellen Bernstein. That's a demon.
I love that
It's
those
the
are the-
normal sound that rats make.
Why are those the only two options you have though? I'd still upgrade from like rat to bird.
Like
Or maybe
raccoon,
badger.
maybe.
I wouldn't just spring straight from rat to demon. Those aren't the only two.
I believe that that's Emma's trajectory though. Like, if I can't explain it by small rodent, it's gotta be something
Gotta be
supernatural.
demon.
So I get the flashlight? Nah, I'm just gonna light a candle. Okay, great.
Yo, let's talk about what happened to your fucking candle, and that's not normal. That's a demon.
Well, let's talk about the fact that he came up with a torch.
Right?
Come on.
I just love the quick scene changes in this film. They
Every
are
scene has been
a
like
revelation.
so tiny.
It's just like it keeps you on that edge because you just still don't know what's going on. So I really like how ahead of its time it is in terms of representing different cultures. To honour those cultures and what they're like, but without being stereotypical and insulting.
yes, yes.
It's quite amazing actually for such a dated film.
And a lovely mother-daughter relationship.
Yeah, single mother, big up.
Damien Karras. That's his office back.
Fuck off, is his name Damien?
He's our
I
second.
kept thinking that's what I was hearing, but I was like, I'm projecting that because there's no fucking way this priest is called Damien.
I love it when the 70s went through that phase where the 70s did the 50s.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
Why is she friends with so many priests?
I know, right?
Random.
They're gonna die up there.
Bless her. Good mum skills.
Yeah. This is one of those films where you're really just like, you're a mum that I can relate to.
Yeah.
Someone just gave that bed hydraulic.
Chilling. It's chilling. It's like, it's so supernatural suddenly in this series of images that have been perfectly ordinary. Something as simple as a bed shaking is suddenly terrifying.
And like, it's not over-laboured.
Yeah.
It's just the bed shook and then it changes scenes. Like, it's not...
It doesn't give you time to get used to anything.
Like, you know, it floats in the air and it's there for a while and it's really ethereal and everyone's like looking at it and it's a really big deal. It's just the bed shakes, boom,
moving on.
next scene. So good. Christian, you should get a red turtleneck.
Oh!
That was horrible. That was really frightening. That flash. Oh, chills.
That very good dream, like him and his sleep mumbling mum when in the visuals he's like trying to yell because that was horrible. That felt like choking.
And also, like the fact that he already feels guilty about his mum.
Yeah.
And like it's a vision of her walking away and yeah, awful.
It's almost like they studied subconscious psychology.
Yes,
And they were putting it into this movie because I don't know what that flash was in the middle, but I did not care for it. Again, like she's in the hospital before we even really know what's wrong with her. So they are trying to sort it out and not just like being lazy about it either.
Well, I'm guessing that's meant to be like a witch's mark rather than like a obviously, you know, AIDS panic. It's a lesion. Why do they use to make needles like that?
Like so big.
In case you didn't know you're going to be stabbed with a needle, we put two massive handles on it. Hey.
Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun.
It's so fucking ridiculous. Think how small they are now.
Oh, it's the horror of watching your child go through a hospital appointment. Like, oh God, is that meant to happen?
I think that's sort of the traumatizing element of this. It's just like you're watching it through the mother's eyes of just like she's helpless. She can't do anything for her.
It's like her child's blood is like spurting out of her neck while he tries to connect a tube. Like just something as simple as that, very everyday almost, but
yeah, people who have like children who have suffered with huge illnesses since birth or even a young age would just be normal
all day.
Yeah,
but it is like so horrible to watch.
Horrific. Like if you went to hospital now and they tried that on you for an X-ray, you'd be like,
fuck off!
are you joking? Why can I hear it?
Yeah.
Oh! Keep away! The soul is mine!
Something about a child's blood-curdling scream. Awful.
Oh, that was horrible. I loved it. I don't understand how people can't find this. Like, it's still such a good build-up and it's so well paced.
Yeah, it's aged really well.
Yeah, so I don't understand why people are like, it's the 70s, it's not scary anymore. It's like, jump scares don't make things scary.
Yeah, that's just ignorance, isn't it? I always find people who really like jump scares and like gory films, I don't actually consider them horror film fans, if I'm honest.
No, yeah.
It's like your mind is so closed to what else is actually terrifying.
Exactly.
Psychological stuff is way more penetrating than everything else.
Yo, what? Go back to that one. No. Oh.
I lied, it's from me. The spelling is on the back.
Bloody classic. Gross. Absolutely gross.
Oh my god, that was horrific.
I just love looking at you, Christian, your hand over your mouth, just like, It's amazing, actually, yeah, that something made in this, 1973 can shock people in 2020. It's amazing.
Well, then let's introduce ourselves. I'm Damien Cass.
And I'm the devil.
What is it?
No, that's wrong. It's not Vomit. That's not her maiden name. Incorrect.
Oh my god.
We are the same. I mean, she's really good at art.
Do you think there's a cut where they originally used that joke?
Yeah.
And then I don't think that's appropriate for this
Totally not.
Yeah, there's a director's cut that you can get.
We need to be like more sassy.
Yeah.
Actually, no.
We were looking for neighbours. Now is not the time to be ironing. If my daughter was possessed by the fucking devil, I don't iron as it is.
I was going to say that.
Like-
Any excuse. Oh no, you're possessed. Oh no, I can't do the chores. Oh.
It's a shame.
Could make it any worse.
Oh, I don't like it.
Gross.
Oh my god.
So gross.
This is so frightening on a level that is like, I'm unable to say. Like,
Yeah.
that's so horrific.
Can't even verbalise how you feel about it.
Because like, it's not even anything we've not seen since. It's just being done in such a clever way.
Mm.
That's the loudest thing this movie has done. Like, I'm not even gonna like. Christian has just turned this volume down because that looks like I'm cold. I'm cold watching.
Yeah, I'm really cold watching this actually. But that's good. That's what I think is amazing about filming horror films. And I've filmed horror films myself, so I'm aware like the situations you put your actors in to kind of heighten the real element of it. You want your actors to be scared about something.
But this movie is very.
Stick your cock up her ass, you motherfucking worthless cocksucker.
They need to be homophobic. Oh god.
Ew. So simple.
Father Carlos.
So effective.
David, the response, please. Serpents and scorpions.
Oh, that was horrible.
Your unworthy servant.
That flash is gross.
really do not care for it. And it's just a man in white makeup. But like,
It's effective. And we haven't seen it too much.
yeah. I get it. I get why it fucked people up. Ew, you vomited in my scarf, you gross demon.
Straight to the wash. I just know how hard I find it to function cold.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I'm
really
being
struggle.
the thing.
I cast you out! Christ
No, fuck off.
and reigns with the Father and the Holy Spirit.
That's so grim, isn't it?
By the judge of the living and the dead. It's the
Oh,
power.
gross. That is gross.
It's the power of Christ that compels you. Christ compels you. The power of Christ compels you. Commands you. God the Son commands you.
Could have given him a warning. Like, didn't move.
Right there.
What's that, David? Oh no.
Never mind. it's
Now,
fine.
I'm in the middle of my thing.
Get up! Get up and kill the demon! Oh god, that's horrific! Oh gross, fuck that.
That is gross. Right, that was really like monster-like.
Yeah. This movie is so good.
All human race.
I'm so afraid. Piss off, demon.
Because it's so alien to the average person, you're like, I don't really know how they would succeed Yeah. So it makes it more tense and more frustrating. And you're like,
And I'm also just aware that like we must be ramping up to the third act of this movie,
yeah.
and I still don't know how they're gonna win.
I know.
It's really frightening.
That was absolutely vomit-inducing.
That was so scary. Kudos to you, everyone involved in this movie.
Right?
Like, it's over it. I'm
You
like,
need to drink more, Emily. It will make you feel better.
I don't like it. It's so frightening, but like I love it. It's like such a good movie, and I'm not ready for a potential jump scare. Don't go in there alone, mate. Don't go in there alone. You can't handle it emotionally. You're still reeling. Don't do it, mate.
He keeps telling you your mother is sucking cock in hell.
Like,
you are
you
not
have a
okay.
real- Oh, I forgot he has his like pills. Oh no. Please be okay, Mr. Priest. We need you because Gabriel Byrne, Rocky Priest, ain't doing shit. He's like not having a good time.
Rocky Priest.
Fucking leave it, mate. Oh no, 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 no,
No.
no, 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 no.
Absolutely
I'm
not.
upset. I'm upset. That made me sad. It's scary because it implies that the demon knows everything. Okay, fine. We're back to. I don't like either.
I do not like Rocky Priest doing this by himself.
Get out of the room.
I'll put some fucking boxing gloves on, man. Oh my god, what we should do if that was the solution? Just like beat the fucking shit out of her in the ring.
The constant like stomach rumbling of the demon is just horrible.
She's just super hangry. Do you know what it's thinking of? You know when like you're using something on your face that's meant to like combat your spots, and you know it's working because you feel like that burn? Mm-hmm. That's what that makes me think of. You know when your exorcism is working because it burns. Jesus Christ.
How are you doing, Ellen? I'm not doing too good. How are you doing?
Is she gonna die?
I don't know. I don't know what happens. I'm like, she might, Ellen. I fucking don't know. I'm very afraid.
That was a crotch shot. Jesus, that's fine.
Jab into the brain.
Bloody hell. They're like, right, okay, here's the sexy one. Let's really ramp it up. Bloody hell.
Don't open the fucking door, are you insane?
I mean, I wouldn't do that anyway. Oh, it's this guy.
No, not now, hon.
Yeah.
Come back tomorrow. What the fucking fuck happened? Oh my god, oh my god. Oh fucking hell. Oh my fucking god.
I know, terrifying.
You son of a bitch!
Oh my god, I didn't mean it! But no, don't want it. Don't want it. Don't want it. Oh, I think she liked you, huh? I think she does remember it. On stage,
Yes.
they don't let you clap until the interval, and they don't let you clap again until the finale, and that is why it is so emotionally impactful. This movie doesn't let you think, breathe, stop, pause. There are the amount of times that I wanted to yell, whoa, can we pause for a second? I need to like
Digest.
take that in and like calm myself. But my shoulders hurt because I held I held myself in that position the whole time, and not once did it there were no jump scares, so it didn't let me.
Oh, it's happened now, I'm gonna relax.
Yeah, like none of that, just constant winding, and then it doesn't let you go at the end. That theme is now gonna fuck me up so much.
Right.
That was as good as people said it always was going to be, and anyone that said, oh, you're not going to find it scary because it's the 70s, like, sure, I might have nightmares, like, but I'm an adult, so, like, I can deal with things a lot better than I could if I saw that when I was 14. If I saw that when I was 14, I don't know what would have happened. Something possibly very dangerous. Like, I don't think I would have been able to handle anything.
Yeah,
that was
intense.
Incredible. That was
it's
such
really well done.
Brilliant piece of storytelling and filmmaking. I have my issues in that I knew that, like, I didn't know what it was surrounding, but that idea that we were saying, and you were saying how in horror movies you want your actors to feel part of the horror on set. However, I know for a fact that the director of this, the guy at the end that's doing the last rites, wasn't an actor and wasn't getting that right in the director's eyes. So he took him over, slapped him around the face, made him go and do it and filmed him, and that's why his hands are shaking when he's doing it. So it's a very believable performance, but hun, did we need you to be slapped in the face? Because that was a genuine fridge that they were walking into. Linda Blair hates being cold to this day. Because of her experience on set. How far does
they push them?
Until it's abuse. And it's part of the fascination of this movie where I'm like, it's very Hitchcockian when he's just like, fuck you, Tippi Hedren, and here's a bird on your face, like,
oh my god, it makes you feel physically ill.
And it's so unfair. It makes brilliant masterpieces of cinema, but it's not fair, and you probably could have done it without all that bullshit. I think, like, the movie it's so good. How are you, Christian?
Yeah, that was quite a tough one. I wasn't as vocal as I was expecting to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
You were really quiet, which actually is scarier.
But again, it's because there's very few jump scares in there. And there's very few things. There are parts of horror films where, because they're so to do with everyday life, that I'm trying to think of an example, and I'm not being very good in that respect. But there are, for example, in terms of, like, if you're thinking kind of for classic, like, gore horror films, things like Saw, they play on the fact that people know what a needle to the skin feels like. They know what certain things happening to your body feel like, so you can kind of emphasise in that way with that extreme level on screen. I think with something like this, because there's no jump scares in there, which is what tends to get me, which is why I'm not a big fan of horror films. Actually, I was very compelled by the story, having never seen it before.
Yeah, it's a really gripping story.
I spent half my time, well, more than half my time, trying to work it out and working out what role each character was playing in it. And because of the quick scene changes, I was constantly just trying to work it all out and piece it together. Whereas I think quite a common theme with modern horror films is that I think people now need to be, they don't want the story, they just want...
They want the immediate
They want the immediate,
shock.
I mean, I could be completely wrong, but I feel like that's why I find it difficult to watch modern horror films, because there's such an emphasis on the makeup of the paranormal entity, the makeup on that is so incredible that it scares the living daylights out of me. And then on top of that, they'll throw it in at you with a jump scare. Which is why I want nothing to do with it.
It's fair.
I'm sure I could be in one, because you'd be watching all the backstage stuff, going, oh yeah, there's a guy over there dressed with there's someone with a mask on. I know what's happening.
That's Jim.
That's Jim. Yeah. But when you're actually watching it there, I think that's why I struggle so much with modern horror films. But older horror films, like when we watched Rosemary's Baby.
That's another slow burner.
That's a really slow burner.
It's the lack of patience in these modern horrors that are not a testament to them. They suffer because people aren't willing. With the success of this, I mean, you know more than this than me, but I feel with the success of the slasher in the 70s, 80s, people realised that there was an audience for this sort of instant, like, haha, death, death, death vibe.
Yeah.
When you take it back to basic storytelling, and the reason The Wicker Man lasts and the reason The Exorcist lasts is because it's a good story and it's well acted and you care about the people in it. And then on top of that, with this movie, I would say the editing, as we mentioned,
that's so good.
is genius.
But then in the same respect, I would say there's plenty of modern horrors where the acting is utterly brilliant. And like I say, for me actually, I find the older classics far less scary because they rely far less on computer, like CGI stuff. Not even CGI stuff, but just kind of, again, kind of just
that scary imagery.
Yes, they rely.
Which is why I find them scarier.
Yeah,
interestingly,
because
because
having to make other use of other things.
Well, it
so
just depends what
a door
scares you.
closing will become much scarier because they'll apply all the atmosphere and effort to it.
Which I find that scary.
Yeah.
I find displacement and imagery and stillness scarier than a jump scare or like a monster or whatever.
Yeah.
Whereas if I compare that to something like The Conjuring, like there's no way you'd get me to watch The Conjuring again.
Well, The Conjuring's really interesting because it's almost a mix between the two, which the really successful modern horror films are. They're a mix of gripping storytelling, where you want to know why it's happening, and the acting is phenomenal and the editing's really good, but they do that level of CGI which the 70s etc was not they didn't have the access to, so I think that's why that's a really interesting example, because actually that's taken the best of both worlds, which not together. I wouldn't say all horror movies have taken that on board.
We were talking about It Follows is another brilliant example of the mixture of the two, and I find it's things that stay with me. Like, I get so frightened so easily, but the imagery from The Exorcist is going to stay with me.
Yeah, it will do.
Absolutely.
No matter, even though it was so fleeting. People talk about all of the Exorcist scenes of Linda Blair in the makeup doing the stuff. That's possibly 10 minutes max.
Yeah, it's a really small percentage.
You spend a lot of time with Gabriel Byrne, Rocky Priest, dicking about with his dead mom. Like, so much of it was like we spent 10 minutes in Iran at the beginning of the movie for kind of no reason. Like, the assumption is that I know it's Pizzazu, even though it's not mentioned in the movie. That's the demon, and the illusion near the end where they put the thing with the thing, like they sort of allude to it, and that's why. But it's still a brilliant setup, and I don't dispute the movie for opening in Iran randomly on a dig.
But I think in the same respect, it comes down to, for any genre of film, it's how a film is edited and put together. Like, the editing will always define the genre and define the final product. Because with a film like that, for example, you can't really work out, you don't know what scene is going to come next. You can't work out a pattern in what scene is going to come next. So you do end up on edge for a lot longer of the film.
Literally, it's so interesting when you compare it. My favourite horror movie is The Wicker Man, and that, to me, in my memory, has such long, drawn-out scenes. Most famously, the very final scene where they just do not cut away, and you are just there in the moment for such a long time. Compared to this one, which is like 2 seconds here, 2 seconds there, 2 seconds there, 2 seconds there. I'd be interested to... I know it's been translated to a stage show. I wonder how it could work, because what I found so clever with this was the very short scenes. I don't know how you'd be able to do that on stage, because the beauty of screen is that you can have tiny, tiny scenes that don't make any sense on stage, because you're like, what the fuck? What a waste of set and time and space, and etc. The music obviously is iconic, but also just the use of sound. We were talking about how it goes from silent scenes to a hugely clattering loud scene back to a very silent scene, and the bit where you had to turn the volume down because we'd come into the house and heard Regan scream 3 times before then, but that 4th time when the priest turned up was the loudest it had been. And little things like that you possibly wouldn't have noticed in the cinema in the 70s, and you don't know why you're so unnerved and vomiting and fainting in the aisles. But I get it, it's all these clever little uses of film as a medium that are combined with this fascinating even to this day, when like very few people are religious and like, you know, we don't believe in it, I'm not worried that the devil is going to get me.
Not
but
to
like,
the slightest.
and
They would
like
have done
you said-
already.
Exactly. And like what you said about ghosts and eternal damnation, all of that bullshit, like whatever. But the story is so compelling, and I think what's interesting is that the family that were affected didn't believe
Yeah.
in religion.
Yeah.
And so it could be you. And even though you
Yeah.
don't believe in it, perhaps it still exists and it still affects people. In the same way that like a disease does. I don't know. It's
Yeah, just it will get
Clever.
you regardless.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very clever. I'm fascinated. I'm obsessed now. I get why people are so obsessed with this movie. It's an excellent movie. And
It is
it's an
an excellent
excellent
movie.
horror. And I'm so happy that I did find it scary. The amount of people that insisted I wouldn't find it scary in this day and age.
No, I knew you'd find that scary, but
hell yeah.
it's a bit of you, and I know what you
It's
find
that
scary.
psychological,
Yeah.
get under my skin. The flashes of the man in the white makeup can fuck off.
That was horrifying.
That brilliant bit where they like almost superimposed it onto Reagan's face just so briefly. I probably didn't even clock what I was watching until my brain caught up with my face. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh wait, that's scary. I don't like it.
And that was like the one from his dream. Oh yeah,
yeah.
horrible, horrible stuff.
And that sort of hereditary, it follows vibes where they've just got like, hey, his mum has died, and that is tragic, and that is weighing on him, and this demon is using it against him, and we've all experienced death and grief possibly by now, and we understand the weight of that, and all of that lends into understanding and appreciating horror at an older age and the consequences of death, and like the fact that a 12-year-old's life is on the line here, and that's so much scarier when you're 28 as opposed to when you are 12,
Yeah, absolutely.
because you don't understand, like, why should you care when you're 12? Didn't know that was the ending. Loved it.
Yeah,
My face,
so good.
I like was speechless.
Yeah, you were the same actually, Christian. You were just like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's really.
It
well
was the
done.
way the demon was just so casually leaning on the side of the bed,
Yeah.
just looking down at the corpse. And it was the way that things often happened off screen, and you would just come in and be like, oh no, that's now a thing, and then you would scene would change, and like, oh god, I cannot sing this movie's praises enough. It was so good.
Yeah, it was really good.
So good.
Really thoroughly enjoyed it.
You went to top up my drink and I hadn't drunk a drop because I was just
Yeah,
engrossed.
yeah. You just
An
couldn't.
alcoholic, so I was chugging my gin earlier.
But I think it does play, also kind of give testament to the techniques they employ in making this film, because I think like you've already said, a lot of modern horrors play on a
They
need
can
for
just
jump
rely
scares, and kind of like this rate, kind of every 10 minutes or so, maybe 15 minutes, there's another jump, there's another
Yeah.
flash of something that viewers can assume is scary, and then that therefore keeps them on edge now. Whereas
Yeah.
back then it was very much, it was kind of like part horror, part detective
Yeah.
story of you actually like following the
love-
characters' journeys and trying to work out what's happening to them.
I loved that they had these drawbacks. I loved that they had these massive blockades where they couldn't physically do a bunch of shit, so they had to find a way around it.
I would love to see another horror movie produced now that solely relies on storytelling.
That almost they challenge themselves where they have to shoot it on like Super 8 and they're not allowed.
Yeah.
They're allowed technology up to like 1979,
Yeah.
and they have to make a horror movie using only what would have been available in up to 1979.
Amazing.
So iconic. Thank you so much
Yeah, it
for
was
going on this
flesh.
journey with me. I don't think I could have watched it alone. I think I would have copped out and looked at the floor a lot more if I didn't have
Yeah.
the physical support of reaching out to Carmen and grabbing her when I could.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't have watched it properly.
Yeah.
So this was amazing.
I bring horror to lots of people's lives.
You do.
It's
You are
my
like the horror
ability.
fairy with your woven basket of fear.
I would not describe you like that.
I would say every Halloween I go out and
Sprinkle horror.
sprinkle the horror everywhere. I will be reviewing The Exorcist on my blog, so Spooky Bitch. If you just Google it or look on WordPress, you can follow me, comment, etc. I love debate, so by all means get involved. I'm going through all sorts of different horror movies at the moment, and there'll be more content which will include, you know, different fashions and horror movies that are coming out, and of my own ventures, because I make my own horror shorts and I produce a lot of scary plays and or ghost stories and or murder mysteries. So please follow and keep up to date, particularly if you're in the London area.
Nice.
There's lots of content for you to enjoy. So yes, please do look that up, and I will be bringing up a lot of this in the review.
Nice.
So exciting.
Love it. Very exciting.
Yay, good stuff.
Thank you so much for joining us on this journey. It's been a real trek, and I've enjoyed every minute of it. We'll see you next time on Why This Film. Bye!
Bye!
We
Watched the film and we talked about it, but now it's time to say goodbye. We'll be back again with another movie that makes you wanna ask why.